Okay, so guys, finally, freaking finally, welcome back to my Marvel Avengers walkthrough, but this will be the verdict, so let's just get this over with. Let me see if I can get to a quieter place. Or let me see if I can just turn the music down. Hold on a minute. Okay, that works. Yeah. Okay, so what am I gonna give my final verdict for Marvel Avengers now that I played it? Yeah, 7. Instantly 7. I surprised myself. I honestly really wanted to give this like a 5 or even lower than that. But I think it's appropriate to give it a 7. It's only getting a 7. It's definitely not like to the caliber of like Mass Effect, or if we stick with PlayStation, God of War, Last of Us Part 2, and so on and so on. But what did I dislike about it? Oh yes, time to rip this game a new one. What I didn't like about it, the first thing is the technical bugs. I tried my darndest to overlook the technical issues, but it was prevalent. It was very obvious in every campaign I played, even the DLCs. The frame rate dipped too much. The frame rate just slowed down when the action scenes were getting too hectic. It only picked up when there was only the cutscenes. It was smooth in terms of the cutscene. It was good. The frame rate was good. But when we're doing the actual gameplay, no, the frame rate was buggy. Very buggy. I literally caught a video of me of a game breaking glitch with the Hulk doing that thunderclap. It froze the game and I had to restart 20 minutes of gameplay. It happened not just once, it happened more than once. I think it happened more than 3 times that I had to restart the game, or for some reason the game glitched out, or I had to restart the checkpoint just to get to it. There was just too many technical bugs. Like when Bruce disappeared, the game breaking glitch as I called it, when basically I did the thunderclap, too much stuff was happening, the game crashed and stuttered and literally had to restart. And not just that, the game just dipped in the frame rate. It just slowed down to a halt, and I'm just like, this game is so broken that it's amazing that it actually got a fan base. It's amazing that it got done. It just felt like it was just pushed out there for a cash grab. That's exactly what it was. Too many bugs. Too many times that the game just did some weird oddities that it took me out of the experience. Slow down on the cutscenes. Slow down in the gameplay. What I'm trying to say is the technical issues just need to be fixed. If they do an update, or I hope on the PS5, if I get to play that, I really hope they fix the bugs. They just really need to focus on the bugs, or just wait a little longer. I'm curious how the PS5 would have played in terms of technical issues, but it's horrible. It's pathetic, and it got frustrated. The game bugs got me frustrated. Another thing that I really didn't like was it's going to be a double-edged sword. The gameplay and the side missions, it's more of doing the same generic missions. The mission structure was all over the place, that it was not fun. It was tedious, boring. I didn't have fun at anything, even in the main campaign. This one, and this one. If it wasn't the main story mission, but even when we did the main story mission, it was the same generic mission structure. Get to point A to point B, defend the enemy station while Jarvis hacks the station again, or basically kill waves of enemies while defending a spot, or kill waves of enemy to save the prisoners once again, and then we got back to the interesting story. I hated the gameplay with a passion, because the gameplay just did not get interesting. It was just classic 1-2 punch the generic enemies. The enemy variety kind of changed it up, that it kept me guessing, like the Maestro Hulk. I enjoyed that because it kept me guessing, and it was actually fun. But the actual gameplay was just frustratingly lackluster. I didn't have fun going to the mission structure that was exactly the same, and it was the same for all 3 parts. That's what pissed me off. It was the same for all three parts, and nothing got changed. It was just the same boring mission. I didn't. Even when you get past the main story missions, there's nothing to do in the side missions. They're not fun. They're not great. They're just busy work to pad the time until you get back to the interesting story. I hated the lackluster gameplay. I just did not have fun the entire time. Anytime that I got back to the story mission, I was having fun. But anytime I got back to the side missions or just the regular missions, I was bored out of the mind. I was bored as tears. I was waiting for the game to end. And that's never good. Where the gameplay is not fun, that I just wanted the game to end and just wanted to just be done. I wasn't having fun. I will admit. As a gamer, this was boring. This was incredibly boring. Okay, what else? It's a minor thing, but I'll have to address it. Getting the costumes that you want and the cosmetics and everything you want, you literally have to buy. It's microtransactions. You have to literally use your real money to buy the stuff that you want to change the costumes. I like the costumes they get in the main campaign and the other DLCs. Don't get me wrong. But I did want to change out the armor and all that and get them kind of, yeah, it's a double-edged sword on that. But it sucks that I have to use real money to get the items faster. It's, gosh, a lot of companies do that, and this game is no exception. I hated that. I wanted to change my characters out. That's a minor thing. It's really, the gameplay was lackluster. The missions that we were doing were lackluster unless it was involving Toadie's sections or few sections. That's it. Otherwise, it was boring as tears. The gameplay, there's just no excuse for it. And the technical bugs, there's definitely no excuse for it. That's what I really just detest about half of the game. Okay, so let's get to the interesting part. What did I like about the game? Okay. People will be kind of divided on it, but I actually like the story on all three of them. My favorite, if I had to say, was definitely, if I had to rank them, it's definitely Reassemble, then Take an Aim, and Future Imperfect. But in terms of the story as a whole, really like what they did. And why I like the story, because it was human. It was Marvel DNA, and it was done right. It just felt like they understood the characters. It looked like somebody from Crystal Dynamics, Square Enix, and Eidos Montreal took the time to investigate each Marvel, and they took their own spin on it. I particularly like Kamala's story. I think she was the star, and I hate that she got reduced to an extra in the DLC. I hated that. But that's okay, because she got her time to shine in Reassemble, and she earned it. She's a perfect central character, and she gets all the screen time that is necessary. It's human, it's emotional, it's humorous when it needs to be, and it's just a pitch perfect story, and I like how it ended too. Yeah, Reassemble was the best storyline, I think, and it was so well done. Along with it, just the story in the DLCs too, they just continue what I liked about the Reassemble, but they just added interesting characters, like the Kate Bishop. She was already instant win, she was already instantly likable. I like the time travel concept story they did with her. I like the Future Imperfect with Clint. I don't think it was the most interesting, but I think it was pretty cool in its concept, and I like where it was going. I don't think the ending was as awesome like the Take an Aim and Reassemble. I particularly like Reassemble's ending, and I really like Take an Aim's ending. But I didn't like this ending towards the end. I just felt like it was rushed. But I get it. They're just trying to save it for the Black Panther DLC and more to come. I can't wait when we get a Spider-Man one. I think he's going to be in this. But yeah, the story was just well done, especially in Reassemble. I just like the story of where it's going, especially with Reassemble and the other ones. Say what you will about this haphazard divided that will pretty much divide fans. And people will probably not like this as much, but the story really made up for it. I was not bored with the story at all. In fact, it hit me where I live, especially Reassemble. if they do a sequel to this, please give us more of the story and fix the gameplay. But there's nothing wrong with the story. I am actually excited if they do a sequel. What they do, I would rather rent this game or make sure the sequel's free. But yeah, I was excited. I really liked the story. As you guys saw, I got pumped up the story. It got me swept up. And it's just classic Marvel. Well done. Well done in terms of the story. Another thing I particularly like too, and it's not hard to overlook, I like the characters and the character performances. There are familiar characters like that actor who plays Captain America. He's from Walking Dead, New Frontier, and some other notable ones. Kamala, she's a newcomer, but she did a fantastic job. We got Abby, or Laura Bailey. Yes, guys, I know the actress. Nolan North as Iron Man, Travis Wilhelm as Thor, and Troy Baker as Bruce Banner. I don't know who played Hulk. And Ashley Birch as basically Kate Bishop. That's pitch perfect. Yeah, even the unknowns, everybody just kills it in their role. Even the NPCs who don't get a role, everybody's just voiced well. They're just, and they fit the characters. The characters are well done because they're classic Marvel heroes that we know, but they just add a unique spin with it. None of the characters were throwaway. None of the characters were boring. They were actually well done when they were outside the character, when they're outside the gameplay. When it was in the story mission, everybody gets time to shine. Even if Future Imperfect was not the most perfect DLC, I liked the characters in it. Even the Maestro Hulk was voiced well for a short time. But yeah, the voice acting is just well done. It's just a waste that the gameplay just makes up half of it. I rather kind of wish it just focused on the story and only gave us a little bit of gameplay. I think I would have liked it more. That's kind of sad. I should play a video game for the gameplay. But no, the story was just well done, and the character performances and the characters were well done too. Particularly the ones I loved in terms of the characters was Kamala instantly, Bruce instantly, and Iron Man instantly too. Yeah, the Avengers right there, everybody plays off well and they're just voiced well. I have no complaints in terms of the force and the voice acting. Now, the double-edged sword. I really just crapped on the gameplay, and for good reason. But when it was focused on the superpowers and customizing the costumes when we actually get it, or just the gameplay when we actually get to unlock superpowers and get to utilize everybody's superpower and then just almost get it upgraded and kind of do like an RPG elements. I enjoyed when we got superpowers. They were fun. They were really fun. Just from Kamala's Mr. Fantastic powers to Black Widow's double gun and kind of like kung fu, to Iron Man's kind of jetpack, kind of shooting everything flying, and Captain America's flying. Everybody was just played so vastly well that there was so much gameplay variety in terms of the superpowers. It was fun to play when it was done like that, or when it was platforming like that. I enjoyed it when we got to utilize their superpowers because that's Marvel. We want superpowers. We want to feel that power. And it was well done. Everyone played vastly different. Even when I was playing as Kate Bishop or Clit, I loved the bow and arrow section. I actually particularly enjoyed it. They were nice. They played so differently, and I liked doing the bow and arrow. I was getting so much headshot, and it was fun. I don't know why it was fun, but it was fun to do it. Especially when I played the Avengers, it was fun too. So it kind of doesn't make sense when we had cool superpowers and we just had lackluster enemies and lackluster missions and boring, tedious things to do. Kind of pissed me off, actually, when we actually had fun elements with the superpowers. Even the customization and the callbacks of collected comic books were fun addition and nooks and crannies. They had something there with the collectibles, and the audio logs were interesting too. Say what you will, it just felt like they did they did all their research to do the comic books, and not just the comic books, to the audio logs. It just felt right. Everything felt right, collected stuff. And then the whole RPG element worked well too. Just I wish the mission structure and the gameplay and the technical bugs were fixed to the max, but here we are. So I think that 7 was very appropriate. I think I said everything I liked. I'm not going to even mention the music because it was nothing to write home about, but it's not a nitpick. I've seen some bad music, but I've seen some excellent music. So guys, I am done with the Marvel Avengers. Stay tuned for Doom Eternal and definitely Final Fantasy VII Remake finally. And new games coming out in a while too. Maybe I'll get back to Nier and Mana and some other games in the future, but I want to focus on those 3 particularly. So stay tuned for that. No more Marvel Avengers, unless they give it for free, then I'll do a Black Panther DLC. It depends. It depends if I want to do it. Alright, cool.